silence as defense minister is named in $550,000 fund diversion. President Muhammadu Buhari came under heavy criticism yesterday for his failure to act in the alleged indictment of his Minister of Defense, Basha Magashi, for a $550,000 security fund diversion. Presidential spokesman Garba Shehu deflected response on the allegation to the office of the Minister of Defense when the Guardian sought the presidency reaction on the matter. Against a groundswell of allegations of cherry-picking on whom to prosecute in its anti-corruption offensive, Buhari is now directly fingered for shielding Magashi, who is accused of stealing and shipping $550,000 from the nation's treasury to an offshore account. Magashi has been called out to explain his role in the slush amount he received from the infamous Abacha loot, estimated by Transparency International to be at least $5 billion, out of which $3 billion has been recovered. Nigerians are incensed that Buhari still ignores the findings in the report. The president's indisposition to bring in his key appointees to account came to the fore as Shehu maintained that it was not within his purview to respond to everything. Wow, you can imagine. Direct your questions to the man, Minister of Defense, he told the Guardian when asked to respond to this latest allegation against his principal's defense chief. A leading online Nigerian newspaper provided more insight to corruption in the Buhari administration as it spotted what appears to be at odds with the administration's sworn mandate to tackle corruption. It noted that it has been 123 days since Magashi was exposed as having been indicted for stealing and shipping abroad about $550,000 from the nation's treasury. Yet, Buhari has failed to take action on the indictment. The newspaper had on August 28 exclusively reported how Magashi, a retired Major General, when in service, got a slice of the infamous Abacha loot. The Buhari government has since benefited from several millions of dollars in return funds from countries where the money was hidden. At the time, a presidency official who asked not to be named because he had no permission to grant media interviews said, "I can tell you that there is no way the president would have ignored that kind of matter to appoint him if he were made aware." But 123 days after, many Nigerians feel embarrassed that the president still ignores the findings in the report, even when the newspaper contacted Garba Shehu before it went public with the report. He did not answer or return multiple calls and text messages sent over 2 days why the president had not taken a stance on the allegations. The silence of Buhari and his inner cabinet is already being interpreted as consistent with the administration's policy of selective justice. Even critical government agencies which provide background information like the Department of State Services (DSS) have been fingered for turning a blind eye to Magashi's alleged corrupt past before the Senate confirmed him. While the presidency is taking a bashing for its allegedly choosy anti-corruption battle, the Civil Liberties Organization (CLO) described Buhari as a leader who fights corruption with two different boxing gloves. Wow. Ibuchukwu Ezike, CLO executive director, told The Guardian yesterday that Nigeria will not win the anti-corruption war with a leader like Buhari who still thinks like a clan leader. Also, a Warri-based lawyer, Otome Adami Deyon, was emphatic that the administration can only convince Nigerians it is committed to wiping out corruption by looking inwards and bringing to justice members of the Buhari inner circle involved in fleecing the country. On his part, Executive Director, Association of Media Practitioners Against Corruption and Instability, Ayodele Johnson, tasked Buhari to do more to restore public confidence in the anti-corruption battle. It is not enough to yell at public gatherings that the government is fighting corruption. Let Buhari arrest and prosecute his appointees indicted for stealing public funds, said Johnson. Oturu Gbeke. So guys, are you really surprised? They are cherry picking what to talk about, who to talk about, the corruption they need to fight. Even Adams Oshiomhole, the national chairman, somebody has written a petition against him that the DSS or the EFCC should go after him. Now they are not even bothered. They are not bothered to even open that case, to even go through whether it is true or not. Oshiomhole is not, does not have immunity. Yet nobody is talking about it. The man has been crying in Edo State. One, whether it is a bishop, I don't know in particular, but the man has been crying. Oh, let them look into this matter about fraud, about this. They are not saying anything. Of course, Oshiomhole said, if you join the party, your sins are forgiven. Even after he said many things, the same Oshiomhole said many things about Ize-Iyamu. Now he's now welcoming that Ize-Iyamu, saying that he's a pioneer of the party. You can imagine in that state. See what they are doing. He said it's for him to even be talking about Ize-Iyamu, welcoming Ize-Iyamu, singing the praises of Ize-Iyamu, the same man that he condemned, that he rubbished, that is in the public domain, and everybody is coming out after Oshiomhole, that you, the same person, now you are saying another thing concerning this man. Are you supposed to trust those people? The grass cutter man is there. I don't know why I always forget his name, but I know the only way I can really and quickly remember him is this the grass cutter person, the former is it what was his position? The position that a boss Mustafa is handling now, is holding now. Well, his name is the grass cutter man who said who is the presidency. It was the same vice president, that sat on the committee or that headed that committee, and they brought a report, and it was after they sacked the man. Why did you sack the man? If the man has not done anything wrong, why did you sack him? Now the report now is under the carpet. It was after 18 months when people cried, talked about it. They tried to tell us, oh, EFCC is after the man. And people said, forget about it. I think that was during election time. They wanted to use it as an excuse that, oh, they are even torchlighting their own people, their own caucus people who have been alleged or are accused of any form of corruption. But people said it was not going to go anywhere. And it is true. We've not heard anything about that up till now. They are not saying anything about it. But they sacked him, man. Why did you sack him? If really your findings, about him is not true, why did you sack him? You shouldn't have sacked him. But after sacking him, he needs to go beyond that. Why? They don't want to do anything. Those are the shady things. And that's why a lot of people don't even give a damn to even the vice president, because they know the truth and they are trying to cover it up. So it is not a new thing. And there's one case again, very close age of Buhari, one of his allies, the man that was caught in the UK about 2 months ago. Nobody said anything from APC. Nobody made mention of anything. They got the £200,000 from the man, and because it was a case of fraud, is a passport. I don't know whether there's a kind of forgery, and they deported him immediately. Up till now, nobody said anything, from the presidency, and this case again now. So what can they say is now their issue now? They don't want to say anything. You can imagine the way Gabashe will stylishly dodge that question. This man that is always coming at, oh, this and that, this and this. When it's coming to Shiwore issue, you will know that you will have to respond. That is not everything that he will respond to. You are supposed to respond to it because you are the spokesperson of the president, because the president does not even speak to anybody. He speaks through you guys. So why can you now pick and choose what's the question you need to answer or what you're supposed to respond to or not? He said they should go and meet the defense minister to explain by himself. Wow, it has gotten to that extent. You see the hypocrisy we are talking about. Some days ago, Pat told me, he cried out that the corruption going on in this administration is 10 times worse than, is 10 times more than the corruption in the past administrations. 10 times more than, because they pick and choose who they want to convince. If you are not in their good record, forget it. They will. That is when you see DSS, all of them, EFCC, they will be up and doing. The issue of a bullion van is still there. Nobody saying anything. Even when they challenged Nigerians to write petition, they wrote petition against about that thing. Nothing is being done up till now. So who is deceiving who? And people will come out and say, oh, Dasuki this, Dasuki did that. Of course, if Dasuki committed any offense, for 4 years, you could not jail the man. So what are you waiting for? And they will be saying, oh, they embezzled money, they did this and that. Now, what is happening? What is happening to this particular person? The minister, defense minister, named in $550,000, $550,000 fund diversion. Up to now, they are not saying anything. You can imagine the hypocrisy we are talking about. Hypocrisy of the highest order. Someone says, this man called Buhari is ruling the country with highest level of impunity. He is doing what he likes, knowing fully well that our constitution is dead and buried in his hands. Let history judge him. After his foolish supporters, we call him Mr. Integrity. It's okay, after all, his foolish supporters, we call him Mr. Integrity. Buhari is the worst president so far in the whole continent. Baba should know that most of the people he trusts are corrupt elements. That is next level to corruption. He will tell you that the people that he is choosing, they are the people he is used to, that he knows them. So if really he knows them, because that is the excuse he has been giving, that he always chooses people who he thinks he can work with, those people he is familiar with. So if you are familiar with all these people and with this all these corruption cases against them, that means he knows about them. So who is deceiving who? Because that is his excuse. When people are accusing him that, why is it that it's only, people from a particular region and all of that. And people have testified to it that if he has known you for a very long time, he has worked with you, then, he would like to be loyal to you by even appointing you for any position. Because he's always talking about it, that those are the people he's used to. Now he's used to this man, and he doesn't know that this kind of a thing has been going on with this kind of man. She's well low. Someone said if an Igbo or Yoruba was involved in this, he would have been removed from office by now and replaced with a Fulani person. This is just the beginning of the lessons Nigerians will learn from the mistake of bringing this government to power. It's true. We are talking about this one. What of Onohe? Before you could say Jack Robinson, the man is already out. Even when people cry that, really, if you have a case against him, follow due process. Follow due process. Before you just know it, people were talking because Onoye accepted that he forgot to submit some documents or some, to declare some of his assets, that one is alone. Alone, he's indicting alone. He has already, claimed that with that, morally, he should be able to resign. They were saying all manner of things. People said, yes, good and fine, but follow due process. People say, no, throw the due process away. And that is what is happening now in the case of Sowore. If not that the US came for Sowore, if not that Showore's wife, stood by his man, by a man, was going from places to places, because the woman made move. If the woman had not made move, I'm sure Sowore will still be there. No matter the cry that Nigeria will be crying, they will not release this man. And because of that, America came in. They would have left this man, and that was what Dasuki enjoyed, even to have been released by now. So the hypocrisy is just there. Now, if it were to be unescated, they just remove him. Back calm. They just remove him fast, because they knew what they were. All the insinuation people, all the things people were insinuating for the removal of Onoye. People are really right, because all of those things are really playing out. You could see Oshomole will be jumping from places to places. The same man, what are you going to say? The foundation of this country is faulty. It's really, really faulty. The same man now, if it were to be, like somebody said, that if it were to be maybe somebody from the opposition or somebody who is not listening, immediately they would have removed it. Buhari would have removed it. And you will hear Gabashe will be spilling, a lot of things. Even Femi Adesina, they will be saying, but now they don't want to say anything. They want to tell us they don't know anything about this whole thing. They don't know what to answer. He's saying they should go and ask the man. That is not everything he will be responding to. And they called him, they tested him, he didn't reply. No response from him. What kind of a people are we? And someone says, yes, you need to find out more about our constitutions and all the requirements for political appointments. Candidates are nominated by the state for an appointment as minister and members of the federal executives. Yet, Buhari wants to borrow $30 billion to further put Nigeria into debt. How am I sure? How am I sure if this country will, when borrow, will not be later found into the offshore accounts? Buhari is obviously supporting his people to steal Nigerian money because Nigerians can only back but can't bite. After all, and having billions in American billions, even American banks, even their aides, I don't think the President Trump has done much as what Buhari is doing, yet is being impeached by House of Reps. So guys, leave your comments concerning this new developments and let's hear your take. Bye.